And now, in studio, bringing his Midwest values from the Show Me State to the land of San Diego. He's a triple threat, licensed as an attorney, mortgage broker, and a top producing realtor who's crushing the competition. Here to deliver you what's happening in the trenches of the market. Your host, Michael Gaddis.
Good evening, San Diego. Welcome to the Michael Gaddis Show on AM 1170 The Answer. I am your host, Michael Gaddis. I am a top producing real estate broker, a licensed California attorney, and a NMLS licensed mortgage broker. I truly am San Diego's real estate expert. I am here every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. to discuss anything and everything related to San Diego real estate. As always, I welcome any questions or issues that you would like to hear me discuss on the show. There are several ways that you could contact me. First, you can call me at 888-242-2272. That's 888-242-2272. You can also email me at michael@michaelgaddis.com, or you can visit my website at michaelgaddis.com. Last week, I told you that San Diego was ranked the 8th best city to trick-or-treat in the United States. This week, I'm going to tell you the top 5 communities to trick-or-treat in San Diego. According to Zillow.com, the top 5 trick-or-treating neighborhoods in San Diego County are as follows. Number 1, Del Mar Heights. Number 2, Carmel Valley. Number 3, Loma Portal. Number 4, Carmel Mountain. And number 5, Mission Hills. 4 variables were used to determine the rankings through Zillow Home Value Index. They evaluated the value. They evaluated the value of homes and single-family residences, local crime data, how close each house is to its neighbor, and the age of residents that live there. Since I moved from Kansas City, Missouri 16 years ago, and yes, I am from the home of the Kansas City Royals, who are just 1 game away from going to the World Series. Can you tell how proud I am? Anyway, since I moved to San Diego 16 years ago, there is one thing I can say for sure about San Diegans. The Halloweens here are crazy fun. I remember my first few Halloweens here. I literally have never seen that many trick-or-treaters. I have also not seen so many people go over the top decorating their homes. In my neighborhood, one guy turns his entire house into a haunted house that trick-or-treaters get to go through. His entire house, upstairs, downstairs, garage, everywhere. People spend money on Halloween in San Diego. There's no doubt about that. It is definitely a fun time of the year. Not that they don't celebrate Halloween in Kansas City, but here it just seems like every neighborhood gets into the Halloween spirit. Well, moving along, everywhere I turn, people are talking about solar power. The TV, the radio, telephone, street fairs, Lowe's, Costco, everywhere. All I hear is buy solar now or you will lose incentives. Lease, don't buy. Buy, don't lease. Watch out for SDG&E. Watch out for NetMetering, and so on and so on. With so many choices, how does one choose? It can literally be confusing. Hopefully, my first guest today can help shed some light on the topic. In studio is Fareed and Ali of Solar Fuze. Solar Fuze is one of the top solar companies in San Diego. But that is not why I invited them on the show. The reason that I invite them on the show is because Solar Fuze is owned and operated by electrical engineers. Education means a lot to me. When I get something done, I always appeal to those that I think are the most qualified, and that's why I like Solar Fuze. Fareed and Ali, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having us.
For inviting us.
Well, my first question is, and because I've heard a lot about this recently, what is NetMetering? What is it?
Well, there's a law called AB 327, Law AB 327 that established in 2013 that shows that only 5% of the rooftop solars to be connected to the grid. And as we are getting closer, so the powers that you produce, you get full retail value back from the utility companies. That's the main one.
So when I have a solar system on my house, it produces energy. Anything above and beyond what I utilize, it goes back to the grid. Is that what you're saying?
And you'll be getting a full retail price back to yourself.
I see. So basically, you're selling energy back to the power company.
Correct.
Okay. Well, what is this whole thing about net metering 1.0?
Okay, so the net, would call it NEM 1.0. Again, it was the same law, 327, created in 2013. What it is that like all the utility companies have a certain rates, like SDG&E charge 17 cents per day, which is equivalent to $5 a month. And if you produce more, that money also can be swapped to the energy that you already have. So for the next 20 years, you don't have to pay anything if you produce the same amount.
So right now, people are grandfathered into this whatever arrangement they have with, let's say, SDG&E?
Correct. So what happened that until the tariff 2.0 comes in, anything that sign up, you'll be grandfathered the next 20 years.
Well, Ali, let me ask you a question. What is net metering 2.0? Because I've read a lot of articles, and not just from California. In fact, I read one last night about a house in New Hampshire. New Hampshire has a similar problem right now. What is net metering 2.0, and how does it affect both the current solar customers, and how does it affect new solar customers?
Well, this is the million-dollar question. The utility companies have submitted proposals that will greatly increase the cost of solar for homeowners and businesses. They're proposing solar-only fees and charges that no ratepayers are expected to pay. So if you're not into that net metering 1.0, then they're proposing an NEM 2.0, which they haven't come out with the rules yet, but they were talking about how they're going to charge more fees every month, where just to be onto SDG&E's grid. However, if you do have solar today, you are grandfathered into that system for 20 years.
So you're saying that basically the difference between net metering 1.0 and 2.0 is the fact that they're changing the compensation structure, or they're changing the charges to be on the grid. Is that what it's about?
Correct.
Correct.
Okay. So basically, if you're in the market to get solar, it's in your best interest, it sounds like, to get solar sooner rather than later so that you can be grandfathered into the net metering 1.0. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah, exactly. Right now is a perfect time to be included into the NEM 1.0 so that you are grandfathered in and that you do pay the fair rate that you're paying right now.
Well, this is a hot topic. I mean, I hear about it all the time. And I think that's why, as I mentioned earlier, that there's a lot of solar companies and everyone seems to be pressing everybody right now. And that might be the main reason why people are trying to press so hard. But let's talk about this, because solar can be kind of expensive. I mean, it's not a very, light, expense kind of, expense, double expense. So what are the type of financing plans that Solarfuze offers that ensures ownership? And here's the most important thing. How do you ensure that you receive the tax credit?
That's a good question. For solar, there's a few different programs that you can use to own your panels and as well as receive the same tax credit the same year that you do get solar on your home. So one example would be HERO, HERO. It's a government-sponsored program that will pay 100% of any energy-saving products in your household. This can go from windows to they'll even cover solar. The main criteria for them is that you have a property. They do not run FICO, and they will automatically give you 10% of your home value for any kind of energy-saving solutions on your home.
So what you're saying is that they'll let you borrow up to 10% of your home's value.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes, and you are still able to keep that 30% federal tax credit. So the unique thing about HERO is that instead of paying every month like you do with every other bill, you would pay on your property taxes every year. And you can divide that up to a 5, 10, 15, or 20-year loan agreement. Obviously, the higher the years, the more the interest rate, but you would pay at the end of the year on your property taxes as opposed to paying every month, similar to your electricity
So
bill.
it's a government program. Instead of going through private financing, you can do it through a government program, and they'll pass that on to your property tax statements, and you pay it either once or twice a year.
Correct.
Is that right?
Yeah, you can divide it up to two times a year or one time a year.
Right. Well, are there any other programs available?
Yeah, there's the San Diego Metropolitan Credit Union offers solar loans starting at 4.99%, this is a recreational loan agreement where you pay every month, and a a lot of customers have been going through this because they offer the specific type of loan. U.S. Bank also offers a home equity line of credit. Right now, they have a promotion where it's 1.5% for the next 5 months, and then after that, it goes to 3.5%. That's another option. And even I've had customers that would want to refinance their home in order to save money to be able to afford solar. But one thing that people should understand is that solar is, money tag wise, it is pricey, but it is one of the best investments you can make today.
Well, Fareed, I'll ask you a question really quick. What is the difference between leasing and owning? Because I know there's a lot of people out there right now, they're promising to put a system on with no money out of their pocket. What are the pros and cons of leasing versus owning?
Okay, good question. Obviously, that as Ali mentioned, that there are a lot of programs out there that you don't have to pay out of pockets money. So it's just zero money down. We could do the whole projects. They cover 100% of the cost and put it in on your taxes. As Ali mentioned, one of the beauty with Aero is that it transfers to the next buyers. So there is no qualification for the next buyer. So that's
there's no assumption process or anything like that.
It goes with the property. So the next buyer comes in, it automatically get it. So that's the beauty of that plans. The one thing that, again, we always recommended, if you have options to have a cash, probably that's the best investment because you get more than 10% return on investment. And if you have other way of mean to tap on the cash, that's obviously the next. And all the other, as far as the leasing, yes, you don't have to pay anything up front. But the thing is that the leasing company takes all the rebates, plus they take those equipment or the panels as their equipment, and they take the 5%, 5 years of depreciation on the first year. So they get majority of their income, money back. But the homeowners stuck with them for the next 20 years, and sometimes will become a challenging when they sell the house.
And with the HERO program that you were talking about earlier, the homeowner gets the tax credit, correct?
Correct.
Well, it sounds like that's probably the way to go versus leasing, because I run into it quite a bit, even in the real estate industry, where you're trying to sell a house and the house has a solar system on it, and it becomes very complicated when there's a lease involved, and to the point where it's almost detrimental to the value of the home. So it sounds to me like and you guys will walk people through that, right? You guys are going to walk people through the whole application process for HERO, things like that.
It's a one-page documents, and they can get approval the next day. So it's 24 hours, they can get approval.
Well, I want to thank my guests, Fareed and Ali of Solarfuze.com. Based upon what Fareed and Ali have said today, it sounds like if you've been considering solar, now is the time to act. Act now and get yourself locked into the NetMetering 1.0. Before you buy or sell solar, do yourself a favor and contact Solarfuze at solarfuze.com. That's solarfuze.com. After the break, we're going to talk to some real estate professionals about the advantages of using a buyer's agent. You are listening to the Michael Gaddis Show on KCBQ AM 1170, The Answer.
AM 1170 The Answer and AM 1170theanswer.com.